need immediate assistance. Benghazi is under attack.
If you do not get here soon,
We are all gonna die.
none of you have to go. But we are the only help they have.
You will wait.
As long as I'm doing the right thing, God will take care of me.
We're gonna unleash hate on these guys.
Six elite ex-soldiers, one forgotten American outpost, and a night that would shake the world. This is not just a war story. It's a survival story. From the mind of Michael Bay, 13 Hours, The Secret Soldiers of Benghazi throws us into a heart-pounding 24-hour siege where chaos reigns, orders collapse, and heroism becomes a choice. But what really happened that night in Libya? And why does it still echo in global politics today? Let's break down the mission, the cover-ups, and the courage, minute by minute. In 2012, there were 294 U.S. diplomatic outposts around the world. 2 of those were in Libya. After Libya's civil war began in 2011 and the deposition and killing of dictator Muammar Gaddafi, Benghazi became one of the most dangerous places on earth. The U.S. evacuated all its outposts, except one, a secret CIA base called the Annex, guarded by 6 elite military contractors, former U.S. Special Forces, known as GRS. Jack Silva arrives in Benghazi. He's greeted by his best friend and fellow contractor, Tyrone Roan Woods, who picks him up at the airport. As they drive through the chaotic streets, they witness a body in a car, armed men everywhere. Suddenly, a group of rebels stops them. Roan requests support from their chief, but the chief declines. The militants demand an inspection. Roan and Jack draw their weapons. Warning the leader they're being watched by a drone that could wipe him and his family out in seconds, they're allowed to leave. Back at the Annex, Jack sees the line of armored vehicles stolen and used by the team. Roan confronts the CIA chief, criticizing the lack of backup when they were in danger. The chief warns them again, do not engage militants. Avoid confrontation at all costs. Jack is introduced to the rest of the team, Tonto, Boone, Tig, and Oz. 3 ex-Marines and 1 ex-Army, all highly trained. Despite being a secret base, the Annex draws attention. The team is obviously foreign. On a mission, Jack accompanies CIA agents Sona Gilani and Britt Vayner. The rest of the GRS shadows them for protection. Roan spots suspicious men nearby and steps out, exposed. Jack sees the movement, alerts the agents, and extracts them safely after a tense chase. 5 weeks later, Jack is video chatting with his wife, Becky. His daughter lets slip a surprise. Becky is pregnant again. News she wanted to share later, he's called to a meeting. The GRS team is assigned to escort the U.S. Ambassador, J. Christopher Stevens, to a nearby special compound. They arrive, meet 2 guards, Dave Eubin and Scott Wickland, and scout the grounds of the 9-acre site with reinforced doors, bars on windows, and a safe room. But it's wide open. On September 11th, 2012, Ambassador Stevens spots suspicious men photographing the compound. He alerts his team. Back at the Annex, the men talk with their families. Jack's daughter reminds him again about the baby. It's a quiet, intimate moment. That night, chaos erupts that a militia mob storms the compound. Libyan security flees. Stevens and Sean Smith are rushed to the safe room by Wickland, but attackers light the building on fire. Diesel fuel and gunfire trap the men in smoke. Wickland escapes, but Stevens and Smith perish from smoke inhalation. The Annex team scrambles to respond, but the CIA chief refuses to deploy them, fearing the Annex will be vulnerable. The GRS disobeys orders. They rush to the burning compound. Gunfire everywhere. They reach the back gate and fight their way in. The February 17th Martyrs Brigade, local allies, help secure the area. Inside, Jack and Roan find Sean Smith's lifeless body. No sign of Stevens yet. As they attempt to return to the Annex, militants tail and attack them with RPGs and AK-47s. But the GRS retaliates. Meanwhile, back at the Annex, they try desperately to get air support, but there's none. In Tripoli, a CIA officer named Glenn "Bub" Doherty forms a team and races to Benghazi. Once Glenn arrives at the Annex, they prepare for a full assault. Each man takes position on the towers. Soon, militants surround them. Wave after wave of gunfire and RPGs hammer the compound. Despite being outnumbered and outgunned, the Americans hold their ground. Suddenly, a mortar attack hits. Roan is killed. Glenn, too. Oz is critically wounded, his arm shattered. Jack finds Roan's body and breaks down in tears. At dawn, a convoy appears. Tonto aims his rifle until the men flash a signal. They're friendly. It's the Libyan military arriving to evacuate the Americans. Stevens's body is recovered. At the airstrip, Jack confronts the CIA chief, who refuses to board the plane. Jack tells him flat out, "You bear responsibility for these deaths." Jack calls Becky, tells her he's safe, barely, then shares the heartbreaking news. Roan won't be coming home. Before boarding, Jack uncovers Roan's body, saying goodbye one last time. According to the end credits, 28 Americans were rescued that day. Libya was declared a failed state and became a haven for ISIS. Let's connect the dots. Benghazi wasn't just a military failure. It exposed a much deeper vulnerability in how modern powers handle crisis, narrative, and war in the 21st century. First, Ukraine. Just like in Benghazi, Ukraine has become a symbol of heroism facing bureaucratic delay. Soldiers on the front lines beg for equipment and air support. Yet political red tape often keeps it from arriving in time. Whether it's the contractors in Libya or the defenders in Mariupol, the pattern is clear. Institutional systems are too slow for modern chaos. Second, artificial intelligence. Imagine the same scenario 10 years from now. AI-powered drones monitoring the perimeter, real-time language translations, predictive threat systems. Sounds like a solution until it isn't. What if AI misclassifies civilians as threats? Or deepfakes intercept communications? We're entering an era where AI might make life and death decisions without human oversight. 13 Hours reminds us, trust in tech is dangerous when seconds count. Third, narrative control. Benghazi was politicized within hours. Truth got buried in headlines. And today, with social media algorithms shaping perception, even you, watching this, might get a version of the story based on what the platform thinks you want to see. What if real-time war stories are curated for clicks rather than facts? Films like 13 Hours are caught in the crossfire of culture wars, disinformation, and censorship, and that makes their existence more vital than ever. All things considered, more than just explosions and firefights, 13 Hours challenges us to rethink heroism in a world where the rules no longer apply. It's a gripping tribute to those who act when no one else will, and a sobering reminder of the cost when decisions come too late. Michael Bay's stylized direction might amplify the action, but the underlying truth remains raw. 6 men were left to fight a war no one wanted to acknowledge. The film doesn't just retell a battle. It exposes the weight of abandonment and the valor born in the absence of command. On the flick verdict scale, this movie is a must-watch. That it's emotional, gripping, meaningful, and well-made. Why it deserves a must-watch rating? It's more than just action. It shows the pain, fear, and toll of war. It pulls you in while staying true to real-life experiences. In today's world, after wars like Afghanistan and Ukraine, it feels even more powerful. The movie shows the chaos of war clearly and with strong impact. If 13 Hours gripped you like it did us, drop a fire in the comments. What do you think? Should these men have received more recognition? And how should governments protect their people abroad? Let's talk. Like, share, and subscribe for more deep dive movie recaps that go beyond the screen and into the real world. This was Flick Favorites, where films meet facts and stories hit hard. See you in the next one.